huge impact on the cost of production of their buyers, be it cement plant, steel, mining, port, whatever. The ROI is evident. So the involvement of sales plus other functions is critical to sell the value. We address what buyers need to convince their stakeholders inside the organization. Fear and a lot of debates that it's not possible to operate in a particular cost, and the rhetoric of a via premium doesn't work. And I think Indians are very logical buyers. It's quite difficult to sell things in India at a premium pricing.
We have Dinkar Rao, business coach, with us. Welcome, Dinkar. So today, I want you to delve into this particular case study that I found on your website, which was very interesting. It was about a European industrial automation leader. I want you to tell us what exactly you found there and how you were able to remediate how this whole business transformation project panned out.
Well, thanks for asking this question, and this was one of the projects which is very close to my heart. COVID days, the economy had its own set of challenges, and the best part of this project was that it is a classical example of leadership by objectives. We had very defined objectives for the project. At the same time, we had the nimbleness to understand that each objective will have multiple sub-objectives, which also have to be seen with flexibility, and a bit of course correction is needed in any transformation project. So it was one such project where everybody was invested, be it finance, HR, sales, services, materials, and of course the board. Let me start with the context, and this is true for any European organization. They're trying to sell something which offers great value to the market. Generally, the pricing is slightly on the higher side as compared to any of the products possibly being manufactured in Asian context, and the customer has the right to debate what is the ROI, how are we going to gain benefit. So the rhetoric of a via premium doesn't work, and I think Indians are very logical buyers. It's quite difficult to sell things in India at a premium pricing. So what came out very clearly was that the whole positioning and what of the product, not only from the sales but also from the marketing teams, also from the service teams, and whole positioning of the brand from the operations team, which is also involved in such projects. Because when we are working with such industrial automation companies who have a huge impact on the cost of production of their buyers, be it cement plant, steel, mining, port, whatever, the ROI is evident. So the involvement of sales plus other functions is critical to sell the value. People focus only on the sales, and there's too much of emphasis that you guys have to sell at a higher price in a better way. But I think this was a transformation project. It was a business transformation project, and that's where I understood how we architect changes in the organization. That's one project where I understood that what we are doing is change management, building the whole blocks in a systematic manner. We address what buyers need to convince their stakeholders inside the organizations, because they have to also sell it to their board. And when we look at the problem not just as our problem, but as our problem, and that our problem, which is holistic, has a bigger game plan, if I may use the word, and requires cooperation of multiple people. And that's exactly what we did. So what started with involvement of a couple of people from the business functions became a project where people from operations, supply chain, finance, HR, everybody started coming in, services of course, and including materials, the people who used to manage the materials required for building this whole product.
So how do the finance guys impact business? I mean, how did their contribution matter in this whole transformation?
Very critical question also, and their role is also very important. That finance people actually have everything at the click of button. Okay. So we started looking at the number centricity as an ally rather than distraction. Generally, what happens when finance folks say, and there's a kind of debate.
There's a fear around.
There's a fear and a lot of debate that it's not possible to operate in a particular cost, and are we getting too cost centric? And on one hand you say that we should be valuable, on the other hand you say focus on cost. How is it possible? So when you look at this as a contradiction, then the whole problem starts. But I think what we did was to involve finance to educate us on which are those accounts where we should focus more, what did we do right, and what the numbers are saying. Numbers are impartial. So we got clear trends on what kind of accounts, what kind of geographies are giving us business, what kind of teams are performing with efficiency, what kind of teams are not able to deliver that kind of effectiveness and efficiency. So finance become a very strong mirror.
Okay.
And then finance also could give us an idea that what is the ROI on people whom we have invested and how they are returning back to the company. Very strong. And then we also involved HR to understand that what all we should do to build the morale of the team. So we started working on this. If I call it as x-axis of business is, let's say, how quickly we are converting, how profitable is the business, how much value we are able to sell to the client, how many repeat orders, how many references we got because of the client, and how all these things are on a plane which has numbers.
Okay.
And
so you help them
Yeah.
decide on these metrics?
Yeah, definitely, and we evolve together. I definitely see what the coach does is or a transformation architect, I would rather call it, rather than a coach. We try to look at things in a very neutral manner and possibly address certain politically sensitive topics which are cutting down the profitability of whole affair. And we can say it with confidence and with mature audience. They're taken in a very positive manner.
Were there any sticky issues in this?
Generally, whenever the sticky issues comes, there are a couple of things. The acceptance of people in the initial stages of transformation project is very heterogeneous. Some people move fast, some people don't move. Some people pull the guys who move faster. All kinds of things happen. So, but with the determination of the board and also certain catalysts, the transformation projects have very deep impact on the entire ecosystem. So, to cut the long story short, if I say what changed, I think what changed was not only the numbers, which can be measured and which can be because of various reasons. What changed was the y-axis of the business, which is sensitiveness of people on certain things which are critical for the buyer. Thereby, a lot more change in the minds of the people around buyer centricity, a deeper empathy developed towards not only the buyers who are paying the premium, but also those who are not able to pay the premium. And what also changed is possibly the way we start looking at people who are in the team and what matters to them. So a lot of things happen on the y-axis of the business, which is very different, but complementing to the x-axis of business, which is measurable. So this was one such project.
Okay.
And we had the measurable data where buyers came back and said this approach of selling helps, and we created what you can call it as concept centers within the buyer's premise, where they don't have to sell the idea to their board that investing on this kind of an automation is an expense. So buyers started becoming advocates.
Okay.
And I think it's not that it was not happening before, but I think the rate at which people started inside the organization or outside the organization, they started accepting such frameworks, improved substantially.
Okay. So what were the 3 top takeaways for you from this?
Stay engaged with people across the organization. While it is important to have the blessings of the board in transformation, it's actually people down the line who change everything.
Okay.
Second takeaway, as I told you, we were also working with service teams. So second takeaway is brilliant ideas come up when you go down the line and have conversations without any bias. And if that becomes the ecosystem, transformation is imminent. Second takeaway. Third takeaway is challenges will come, whatever you're trying to do, and stay focused with people who want to bring the change. And person of people who don't want the change also started as adding value to the project by sharing their challenges. I think that level of inclusiveness is important in a transformation project. 3 fundamentals.
So was this like a Kaizen project, or was this big changes?
Definitely, Kaizen was a part of it. Very live application of Kaizen. And Kaizen gets applied to sales, Kaizen gets applied to service, Kaizen gets applied to finance, HR, everything. It's a fundamental first principle, and continuous improvement. So when we started our meetings, which are called hurdles, weekly hurdles and all, we used to say, okay, by what percentage we have improved on this input parameter. So Kaizen was at the heart of it.
Okay.
In fact, I recommended a few catalysts in the project to go deep and get more conceptually aligned.
Mm.
Comparison. That gave results.